Okay, we're live. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. And pretty interesting show tonight. I forgot to turn my light on there. Yeah, look, pretty interesting show tonight. Interesting topics I want to go over. One of those, of course, is Ruud Van Nistelrooy potentially being appointed as an assistant head coach, shall we say? A head coach? Assistant manager? I don't know. I don't exactly know the terms and technicalities of what any of us are going to be calling things in this upcoming season. Roles are changing. It's not really been it's not really been defined. We'll also be talking about Joshua Zirkzee, and Zirkzee is a player of a lot of interest. United, the links have been getting strong today, but negative story out from Fabrizio Romano. Very much his intention and his desire is to still join AC Milan at this point in time. Does that point towards United being used once again by a player, by an agent, to try get a deal done over the line with another club? Are we being used again in the market? I really hope not. I really hope not, because I'm a fan of Zirkzee, but we're going to find out in the coming days and weeks. I am positive of that. As well as that, we got Adrien Rabiot, another player who I feel like every single year I've covered United on this channel, we get to this point in the summer, we get to this point in the season, and it's United might fancy Adrien Rabiot on a free transfer. United might fancy Adrien Rabiot on a budget deal or something. We see this all the time, guys. Like, I don't know, it feels like it's just Rabiot o'clock time, and it's an annual week we have every year where we're sitting asking ourselves, are we going to sign Adrien Rabiot to come and play in midfield? So, three potential big stories to look at. I guess we'll get kicking off with the Zirkzee news. Now, this came in from Fabrizio Romano. So he was speaking to an Italian outlet by the looks of things. And basically the upshot is Zirkzee's intention is still to join AC Milan at this point in time. That seems to have been the deal that was being done in the first place. United came into the race for him, but it does look like we are a little bit hamstrung until the 1st of July, until this profit sustainability rules resets in the new season. And that's unfortunate, because at the minute it feels like we're sitting duck. Right now it feels like we're sitting hoping that our targets don't go elsewhere, that our targets don't end up moving on to other clubs within the next week, 8 days kind of time. But AC Milan are still leading the Zirkzee transfer race, and the priority is still going to Milan at this moment in time from Zirkzee. And look, it's frustrating. Look, this is coming in from Fabrizio Romano. It's coming in from Matteo Moretto in Italy as well. So two very good Italian journalists. Obviously, we're a lot more familiar with Fabrizio Romano, but it's one of those ones, guys. Like, I'm a fan of him. I am. But I don't know. Like, it's like, if we didn't get him, is it going to be the end of the world? Probably not. Could we get somebody else? Probably. I do just like Zirkzee though as a player, and I think he's a pretty unique profile, and he's a different kind of player to what we have, and that's what I want. I want to see different options for different matches, different systems. Letting us switch things up and switch things about. But certainly, it's a frustrating one, because I think he could be pretty good for us, and I think if we do bring in Ruud Van Nistelrooy, then potentially you're looking at an interesting connection there between a young Dutch striker and a very, very famous, very, very successful Dutch striker as well. Now, I have so much comments to get through. I will get to them in just a moment. I want to get you guys onto that poll, because this is a question about the Ruud Van Nistelrooy kind of question and debate, and where this is going. So, what is the thoughts on the club appointing an assistant manager for Erik ten Hag? Someone to come in and instill some of what they want to see on the coaching staff. Someone to be a link to them and have somewhat of an autonomy and somewhat of a role within the club. Because it does look like Benny McCarthy's going. There's been talk about Mitchell van der Gaag going. There's been talk about Steve McLaren going as well. And it's not unheard of for United to bring these coaches in or promote from within onto the coaching staff. We did it with Michael Carrick. We've done it with Ryan Giggs in the past. It's been done with Kieran McKenna in the past. Eric Ramsey's another one who was brought in by the club to fulfill a role. Do we now see Ruud Van Nistelrooy come in and potentially have a big job, an important job within the coaching setup of United? We know we're trying to overhaul things. We know we're trying to change things. We know we want to take things in a different route. We're not having the traditional manager anymore. We are very much moving to the kind of system of having well, I guess we would say a head coach rather than the manager. So it's an interesting one for sure, where this year's going to go. And I'm very, very curious because it does seem like moves that we haven't seen United really make before in the past. Now, I know Bart's on there talking about Carlos Queiroz, he's talking about Mike Phelan, he's talking about René Meulensteen. All really good appointments. I don't know. I feel like I'm probably too young to remember how they were brought in. I would need to do some more independent research on that one as well. So I'm going to go through some of you guys' comments because I want to see what you guys are saying. Robert's on there. Welcome to United. Van Nistelrooy, the first signing for United. Can he play up front still? Is he the backup striker? Who knows? Who knows? Bart is on there as well. Really smart move. He can't do everything. Even Ferguson had the like of Queiroz and René to help players grow. Yeah, look, it's one of those. A manager physically cannot do everything, and I do feel like maybe Ten Hag's had too much on his plate for a while at the club, and it's been distracting. Like, it can't be easy, when you're trying to coach the team, trying to set the team up, and you have Jadon Sancho coming online and going for you on social media and having to banish him from the team. When you have Cristiano Ronaldo, that entire debacle as well was going on. You have Harry Maguire, Rashford's, the ongoing Greenwood saga, the seal, the takeover, who's coming in of executive, are you going to be safe as a job? Maybe it'd be a lot easier for Erik ten Hag next season if he is solely just focusing on setting the team up and working on improving the players and being the best head coach he can be, rather than being the face of Manchester United. Just be the head coach, do what your job is, and get more out of the team on the pitch. But we'll find out. We will find out. Man Utd is still reading Bart's comment. Is Ake also winner? Am I being impatient over incomings, or is there plenty of time? There's plenty of time, but I don't even think the transfer window's even opened yet officially. So I'm not too concerned. I feel like from what we've heard, from what we've seen online, guys, there's a lot of talk with a lot of different players, and these have been ongoing for quite a while. Now that we have the managing situation resolved, that's another big plus. I think the big things that are going to hold us back in this window, guys, and I've been saying it for a while: European Championships, Copa America, because you're looking at two of your biggest markets in terms of players incoming, South America and European players. You're looking at those at the minute. Most of the top players are away on international duty, so deals can't be done. We can't get medicals in. Players aren't leaving the camp. Maybe you start to see deals happen after the group stage, after the round of 16, whenever teams start to fall away. Obviously, you would like us to be talking to players who are maybe not at the Euros for whatever reason. Maybe their country didn't qualify. Maybe they were snubbed by the international manager. But for the most part, you've got a lot of players over there right now focusing on the internationals, and that's always gonna slow things down. You think back to 2014 when we brought Louis van Gaal in. His Netherlands team went the entire way to the semi-finals of the World Cup that year. I think they finished third, winning that third place playoff. So he came in quite late in that there one, and then there was players from that team, Dilly Blind, etc., were also signed. So these are things that can delay things, that can hold it up, and it's frustrating. But so long as we get 2 or 3 deals done before pre-season, maybe a deal done the first week of pre-season, and get everybody in by the 1st of August. I think that has to be the time period. So we're talking about 5 or 6 weeks at this point. That has to be the goal there. We need to get everyone in by the 1st of August, I think. Finish up the last couple of weeks of pre-season. Start the season with a full squad. We don't want to be seeing players missing out on debuts because they're not registered to play. We want to see everybody ready, available, set to play for Fulham on the opening day of the season, I believe. So that's what we want. That's what we need. And hopefully we're going to get there. But I'm going to be patient for now. But I'm not going to be patient for forever. And I don't think that Ineos will be immune from criticism for myself if things do end up going south. And look, I'm fairly patient with these things, but let's just see how it all goes down as well. Born's on there. They should remove more players than signing. We have too much trash stealing a living. Yeah, I would agree with that. I wouldn't fight you at all on that, Born. I would totally agree with you in saying that we got a lot of players that we need to clear out. For me, I think moving players on is going to be a smart thing to do. It's going to be a wise thing to do because we have a lot of good young players coming through the academy right now. You maybe could see 2 or 3 become first teamers next season, and on average, under Eric Ten Hag, we've maybe had one or two players a season come through into the first team from the academy. Really, the standout from the first season, of course, was Alejandro Garnacho. Last season was obviously Kobbie Mainoo. So there is a pathway there. There is a manager who will give these young players an opportunity, which is good. And hopefully next season we can see Amad Diallo. Maybe we see Harry Amas make that step forward. Perhaps you see a Shea Lacey potentially by the end of the season. Who knows? We want to see our young players given the pathway as well, because that's going to save you money. That's going to mean that we can focus more money on signing important players rather than £35 million on a player to be plan B. If we've got plan B in the bench already, then that's a good thing for me. Yarla's on there. I'm amused. United look at this player. 3 days later, Chelsea come sniffing around this player. They've been sniffing around 2 windows now. United look at Chelsea and go, yeah, it's true. I think Chelsea did this originally with Arsenal. They kind of just went sniffing around players they were after. There was the Mudryk debacle. There was a lot of other players the Arsenal were looking at who Chelsea were just coming in for and looking for as well. Nuba says United need to sign a coach who can teach the players to be press resistant and not panic when they have the ball. Hopefully we can get that at Eric Ten Hag. Haven't seen too much evidence for that so far, but in my opinion, I think maybe Van Nistelrooy could be a good option. His PSV team played really well, and it would be a real statement of intent if you go get a guy who's had a big job in coaching to come in as your assistant manager and work on specialist stuff. That would be a big plus, because we've lost Eric Ramsey as a coach. Betty McCarthy's going. Steve McLaren potentially could retire. Mitchell van der Gaag doesn't have a contract as of yet, I don't believe. So, yeah, you might see a lot of changes to the coaching staff, and maybe Van Nistelrooy coming in could be a really interesting option. And he's experienced. He's led teams before. He's had a PSV team that did very well under him. So, potentially he's someone who Eric Ten Hag could go to and turn to looking for ideas. Maybe in the past, Ten Hag has looked for ideas from his coaching staff and not got anything. Maybe he's felt unsupported. And we had rumours of that as well, that the only person he really spoke to on his coaching team was Mitchell van der Gaag. So potentially this could be a problem solver. Let's find out though. It could be an interesting one anyway. Scott said Ashworth next summer will slow us down. I think we need to get that done quickly. It's gone very quiet in that front as well. Look, I'm not surprised, because journalists have other things to write about. They've got the Euros right now. They've got transfers. They've had Eric Ten Hag to write about. So I'm sure the Dan Ashworth stuff will pick up if it's not done by the end of the summer. Don't worry about that. Bourne said Jim isn't competent with his Dan Ashworth obsession. Want to go for alternatives? I think he just thinks he's the best, Bourne, to be honest, buddy. Robert said, what shows the deal is off? Yes, let me I'll pin it as well. It's the comment there from Fabrizio Romano, who says Joshua Zirkzee's priority is to join AC Milan. So his priority is to go to Milan, not to go to United. Seemingly, the agent has had issues with the amount of fees owed to the club, and AC Milan haven't wanted to pay that. He potentially offered a reduced amount of agent fees and commission for getting the deal done to United. But we're going to find out. We will find out in the coming weeks if there's truth in it. I'll take Romano at his word for now, but I'm sure we can sway Zirkzee's opinion if he wants to come to United, and maybe working with Van Nistelrooy could be a really exciting opportunity for a young Dutch striker who probably grew up watching Ruud Van Nistelrooy as well. So Nubis is down there. I wonder if Ineos can be as sneaky as Bowley. I feel like one way to fix the problem is to be like Chelsea, find loopholes and beat the rules. I'm sure we will, buddy. I'm sure we will. There's got to be ways about it. It's one of those, like, I don't really want to do it either, because you see it at the minute with Everton and Aston Villa and Chelsea having a triangle of selling youth players to each other for overinflated fees and amortising the deals and fixing their FFP stuff really quickly. But I don't know though. I don't know. What have I got down below? I'll check the poll results as well, guys. Let me know your thoughts on the potential Ruud Van Nistelrooy signing. Let's call it signing, hiring, bringing in. What do you guys think? Like, do you think Eric Ten Hag should be picking his own coaching staff, or do you think maybe it's a good idea if we give him some assistance? And if we think Van Nistelrooy can offer something really big to us, then is that a smart thing to go for? Is that a smart deal to do? Let me know your thoughts on that there one. I would be curious to know what you guys think, because I'm not against it, and I think that some of the best appointments we've made, or some of the best coaches, have been club appointed as well. You look at Kieran McKenna in the last couple of years. he did a very good job under Ollie. At the end, he ended up getting a lot of the flack for things going wrong, which wasn't fair on him. And obviously, he's really turned things around at Ipswich and got them into the Premier League, which in 2 seasons is unbelievable. So it's one of those ones, guys. Really, let's just see what happens with it. But I wouldn't be against it whatsoever. And I think that could be a big plus for Erik ten Hag, having someone like a Ruud Van Nistelrooy there, who has coaching experience, has managed PSV fairly recently as well. And that could be an interesting one, because it means that he would have a genuine person to turn to for ideas, or could bounce ideas off, or ask for potential advice or whatever. And that could be a big difference as well. And going back, watching some of the Van Nistelrooy videos on PSV, he did a really interesting video. It was coaching masterclass. I would recommend anyone to go out and watch it. And he outlined some of his ideas and his beliefs on it. He knows the club well as well. So, there could be a track record there for Van Nistelrooy. Let's find out what happens. It's not the first time we'll have seen this done. Probably won't be the last thing, but this might be something kind of different in football as well, and something that we might see more of in the years to come as well. I have loads of comments coming in. I think one of them might have been Jarl. If Van Nistelrooy stays, I'm going to say here now, if Van Nistelrooy says yes, he'll be assistant coach today, and in a year he will be the head coach. It's an interesting one from Jarl, and potentially you are setting yourself up there to have a backup. If worst comes to the worst and Erik ten Hag really can't get this team going next season, and you decide that you want to pull the trigger and you end up sacking him, then you have Ruud Van Nistelrooy there who can be an interim coach, and then you have someone there with coaching experience leading a team, and potentially that gives you the option to do that. I don't think that's a good plan. I really don't see that as a good plan. And the reason I say that is because I want to have a long-term plan here. I said for weeks upon weeks on the channel, either back Erik ten Hag or sack Erik ten Hag. Don't just sit and do nothing. And I do feel like that's kind of what we've done so far. Be important to get this new deal done as quickly as possible. But look, let's get talking about players coming in. Let's get talking about Adrien Rabiot. So this is Rabiot o'clock, I called it earlier. It's one of those deals that always seem to come up around this time of year. Adrien Rabiot either looking for a new contract or looking for a new club. We've had this for 2 consecutive years. I remember covering it both times in the transfer windows. And could we see Rabiot come into United? Maybe. I think as a technical player, he's very good. I think he brings a level of physicality maybe we're missing. Obviously, look, there's been issues in the past with his attitude, or the issues with the issues with his agent, his mother. So look, this coming in from Cardiff side, it's an affiliate. It's an affiliate company that Romano produces content for. I think this is coming from Matteo Moreno as well. He's saying that United's and Erik ten Hag's priority is to bring in Adrien Rabiot in this summer. Let's find out where this one goes. It might just be Rabiot wants a new contract at Juventus. He's going to use United's name again, and we're going to get burnt. But there has been some kind of previous interest there. He was close to coming one other time. We almost had a deal done before we signed Casemiro, I think, and it's one of those. I don't mind the player. I think he's a pretty good player. He's not a DM. He's not necessarily what we need. But if you bring him in, as an additional midfielder, I'm not going to be annoyed about that. I'm really not going to be annoyed about that. I think we do need a number 6 still. But if your options in the 6 and in the kind of box-to-box role are Manu and Rabiot, maybe a Fofana or an Onana, potentially, that could be really interesting. And maybe you throw in, keep Christian Eriksen, or maybe Scott McTominay, and then you've got lots of options in your midfield. Jeremy would love to see Van Nistelrooy back at United. I would too as well. Montada said, I think there'd be clashes between Rabiot and Bruno. I don't know. I don't really know enough about the character of Rabiot in terms of how he reacts to passionate players on the pitch. I don't know though. Nuba said, highly doubt Rabiot will come. Tried to get him many times in the field. Always comes down to his salary. I don't think he'll accept United's new salary structure. Feel like Madrid will get him. Madrid probably get him if they want him. It's one of those. Juventus probably keep him if they want him. But it could happen. It could happen. I'm not saying it's a nailed-on guarantee like some other channels out there might be saying tonight. I don't think it's going to be one of those ones. But I do think that based on our track record, based on the fact we've gone in for him 2 consecutive years in a row, we might go in for him a third time. That could happen. And if it's a free transfer, it's a free transfer. I don't think he's worth blowing our wage structure up for. But as a free option to come in, be a more physical, more experienced player in the middle of the pitch for us, maybe more of a box-to-box presence. Yeah, so maybe not a bad idea. Maybe not the worst idea in the world. I feel like maybe we should move on to Jared Branthwaite, because this is a deal that's been rumbling on for a long time, and this is one that is starting to frustrate me a little bit, guys. I'm a big fan of the player. I really am, but this is a player right now who's not in England duty, and he hasn't been in England duty. We have put, I think, one bid in the past for him, but ideally, we want to see more of this, and I don't know why we haven't made the move really for Rabiot. I feel like we're running the clock down on Everton, who are trying to get around having to sell their players at a discounted price by overinflating the value of youth players and selling them to Villa and Chelsea, who need to do the same thing. It's frustrating. Jarl said Rabiot do play every game for France. That's his skill level. Yeah, I mean, he plays for France for a reason. He plays for Juventus for a reason, and he is a good player. Very, very technically good, very physical as well. Abebe says, I want United to get Zirkzee and Rabiot, Ignacio as well, Frimpong, and Martin Hjulmand. Gehi as well would be better. Yeah, those are some good players. They are some very, very good players there. I would like Martin Hjulmand. I would definitely take Zirkzee. I would probably take Rabiot as well. I'm not too bothered about Frimpong, because I don't think we're going to sign him for right wing, and I don't think he's a right back. Ignacio, not for me, and probably the same going to go for Mark Gehi. I think he's good, but not worth the Crystal Palace asking price. Apparently United have got Max Kilman on the potential options for centre half. 25 million bid rejected by West Ham on Friday, as well as a player plus cash offer from Newcastle. Wolves want £40 million. I don't think we're going to pay 40 million for Max Kilman. If he was available for 20, maybe not the worst. I do feel like we might make a move for Trevor Chalobah, though. That's a move that does seem to be talked about a little bit, and one to watch out for. There was a lot of talk as well about Xavi Simons. That could be an interesting one. Potentially leaving PSG on a loan deal. United might look to bring him in on a loan to buy. That was talked about last week. I'm not too sure about how real that's going to be. I just feel like Simons is unfortunate for going back to PSG. Probably not the best idea for him, but he might grow into it. He might be a key player for them next season. We never know. Guys, drop a like on the video if you can. I think we're up to 21 likes. Let's see if we can get up to 30 as well. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that sub button. I think there was some comments coming in there, possibly from Nubis. United wasting time with Branthwaite. Everton will not drop their demand. They rate him higher than Onana. We should just go after Diamond. Maybe it gets a price, and maybe that's the safest thing to do. I don't think we get Leno Euro either. I think he's going to go to Real Madrid. We're not allowed to sign to Debo. We could end up going in for a Diamond. I'm really not against it. I think Ousmane Diamond is a really, really good player, and I would definitely consider about him as a potential option for United in the upcoming window. And I think he would really improve us. There's plenty of other centre halves out there. Maybe not all at the same level. Maybe not all at the same kind of ability. And I think it's important that we get it right, because replacing Varane's going to be a big, big ask. Replacing and improving upon the centre halves we have is going to be a big ask, because we need to sign at least 2, maybe 3. But I feel like 2 is going to be the realistic number. So I think if you look at next season, you've got Lisandro Martinez guaranteed to stay. I think Johnny Evans has signed a new deal, or is in talks for a new deal. He probably stays. I think Willie Cambuala stays. So that's 3. Then there's big question marks over Varane. Sorry, not Varane. Harry Maguire and Lindelof. I feel like one of them will leave in this window. Probably Lindelof. So that gives us 4 centre backs. And I don't think any of them's really top level. So I think we'll sign 2. I do think we'll sign 2. And hopefully we're going to go big on it. Nuba says, don't want Xavi unless we have an option to buy. Otherwise, we're going to sign him back as a better player. United really want attacking mid, centre mid. Why don't go after Ryan Cherki? He only has a year left. Yeah, look, he's a potential one. He is a potential one. There was talk about us as well going in for a player, I think maybe it was Lille or maybe it was Rennes. Let me just quickly see. Who was it? Let me see. It wasn't Zahir Emery. It was maybe Duya, was it? It might have been Duya. There was talk about that. Hello, to Aurelio from Singapore. Thanks very much, buddy. Coming to you live, from Northern Ireland, as well. I think there was talk about us going in for Duya. I think that's his name. But he's a very, very good player. Could be a real option for us as well. I don't know why I can't remember his name. It's really frustrating me. I'll have to find that one out. Maybe do that there in the next show. Go through that there one. We've got, I believe, 23 likes. Big ups for that there one, guys. Big ups to the 3 people who've hit the sub button so far on tonight's stream. I'll have another quick check as well. Maybe we'll get talking about some of the Euro matches tonight. 2 pretty interesting matches. I don't think there's really too much on the line in Switzerland versus Germany. Obviously, a Germany win suits Hungary and suits Scotland better, so they'll be hoping for that there one. But let's just find out how things are going to go. I don't know, that Scotland-Hungary match, I feel like it's either going to be a really, really, really good match, or it's going to be a really bad one. And I don't think there's any kind of in between with it. There we go. Someone told me it is Dua. Yeah, it is. Nubis told me that. Now that I remember his name, I can actually give you guys the story on it. Desire Dua, that's him. Very, very technically good player. Can play across several positions. And look, there was talk about United having a look at him, potentially going to go in for him. You know, there's talk about Nico Williams maybe going to Chelsea. Chelsea are interested in him. I think Dua could be a really, really good one. Mostly plays on the left, but he can play on the inside as well. Can play a range of different positions, and you know he'd be a lot different maybe to what we have on the left hand side with Rashford and Garnacho, and that could be an interesting one. But he's definitely a very good player. Bart's on there. Am I scheduled to appear on the agenda next week? Yeah, I'm positive I will be on the agenda at some point, buddy. They'll probably get me on for one of the Euro shows, I think. Maybe we'll get our own Euro shows going as well. Just for the... Because sometimes it's hard, like if there's not United stuff to come out and talk about, you know, sometimes you do struggle for content on here. Nibba said Chelsea already pulled out of Nico's race, too expensive. Yeah, something like 200,000 a week. At least it was at Bayern Munich, and it's good for his career too. Yeah, look, it's probably the best move he can make. I feel like Bayern Munich will be back winning championships and, you know, being right up there for the big competitions before Chelsea or United. So maybe it's not a bad idea from him. You know, I respect it. I think at the price, it's one of those, like at the price of like 60, 65 million with 250,000 a week on the table as a contract offer, I feel like that's maybe too much for us in this window on one player that isn't priority. You know what I mean? You know, right wing, yeah, we want to improve there, but I guess worst case scenario, we give Amad Diallo a go next season. Like, I think Sancho gets sold to somebody. I never think Anthony's going to be good enough, but I think Ahmad deserves a go. And I've been impressed with him when he has played this year. And I would like to see more of him. I'm sure you guys agree as well. I'm sure you guys want to see more of Amad Diallo. Anyway, on the poll, you can see the votes of poll. Things have changed. The club appointing coaches rather than the manager. 54% are for it, 33. A third of you guys are unsure, and 13% are totally against it. And they would say United should keep Anthony or loan him out, and we can't sell him, no buyer. Yeah, that's it. Like, I don't think anyone's going to go in for that one. And he's on a long deal. Anthony could be here for a while, and you know it's frustrating. Like, because I just don't think he's ever going to be good enough. Like, I don't think. He's too one-footed. He's not quick enough. He's not really strong enough. He's not really intelligent enough in his play for me. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he's going to prove me wrong next year. Bart said Jude is highly rated in this country because he doesn't play in the Premier League. That's an interesting shout. I agree with that as well. You know, I'm seeing people out telling us that we should be banned Rafa Leao or ban Kvaratskhelia without really watching them week in, week out. And you know, sometimes it's very easy. You know, when we just look at the numbers that some people are putting up, or we just look at, you know, the highlight reels or, you know, the edits and the compilations of some of their best players, you know, they get really, really into something. But it's one of those, it's like, I feel like we need to watch them every week before we know it. Born said we got too many average overpaid wingers. Yeah, we do, buddy. We got a lot of them. We specialise in them, some might even say. And I don't know, I feel like I just want to give Ahmed a go. I feel like I want to give him a go next season and just see what happens. There was talk about him a couple of weeks ago being talked as a player who's going to get first team football next season. He's going to be viewed as a member of the first team squad fully. So let's just see how that one pans out. I feel like that's probably our excuse out there for not signing Elise, is we want to give Ahmad a go. But, you know, if we actually do give him a go, what's the worst that could happen? Bart said, apart from Kane, who was the last English player, none of the press slaughtered when playing for England. Yeah, look, England's press is just weird, man. It is. Bart said Garnacho is overpaid. Yeah, I feel like everybody's overpaid. Like, they are just kicking a ball about the pitch at the end of the day. It's not. I don't know. It probably doesn't warrant like $100,000 a week. Anyways, what have we got, guys? We've got 23 likes. Let's see if we can get up to 30 by the end of the stream. We'll do another couple of minutes maybe, just before Scotland and Hungary get kicking off as well. But yeah, I think we'll do some Euros content this week. I think maybe we'll do a watch along, maybe, or we'll do just a catch up stream, or something on that there one. In terms of United, guys, look, that's pretty much us through everything that I feel like is relevant. There's a couple of stories out there that I would ignore. Like Jonathan David is clearly a player that Romano has tried to sell for years, like by talking to their agents or something. There was talk, I think, from a Turkish source as well, that Aaron Wan-Bissaka has agreed a contract at Galatasaray. United won 15 million. Galatasaray are trying to reduce it down to 10 million. Let's find out on that one. Wouldn't be surprised if Wan-Bissaka goes this summer. And then there was the Greenwood stuff as well. Deal for Greenwood's departure could be struck this week. Juventus, Lazio, Napoli and Valencia all very keen on the player. So do expect movement on Greenwood this week. Hopefully we're going to see some of that there. And then I think we've got one small story on Dan Ashworth. United are willing to wait another 9 months for Dan Ashworth to start as sporting director. Insiders reveal he may not be able to start until March. So not good news on that front if you guys wanted Dan Ashworth in nice and early. Abida is saying United need a transfer done at some point. Yeah, we do. Alex said 50k per week for a starter overpaid. I mean, yeah, compared to other people. Like, it's one of those, buddy. It's one of those. It's like, I suppose, like, within the realms of football, maybe it's not overpaid, but, you think about it, like, 52 weeks a year by 50, it's, what, like, 2.6 million a year? Like, 19, it's insane. Lewis is on there. I like him out a lot, but he's got a bad injury record. I feel like it's too risky to rely solely on him. No, I don't think it's... I would agree with that. I feel like we'll probably try a host of different options on that side next year if we don't end up buying a specified right winger. I just think give him a go, because there's a lot of chances, and a lot of times he was on the bench sitting there waiting to get on and never getting on. So I feel like that's probably worth it. Have I tried Vegemite on my bread? No, I haven't, Bart. Not a big fan of that. Man, I was paid 100k per week. Yeah, it's also true. And it was said crazy, Ineos can't buy any bar from Saudi from AWB. He's just about to enter his prime and only worth 10 million. Yeah, it's one of those. But it's funny, actually, because not a lot of people talk about it, but the Turkish League has spent a lot of money. What have I got from Bart down there as well? Am I proud of McKenna? Yeah, I just think he's done very well. And hopefully he's got a good season in him next year for Ipswich as well. But yeah, look, the Turkish League are one of the biggest spending leagues in Europe. Like, and across the world. I think the only leagues that have spent bigger in the last couple of years across the board are probably the Premier League, probably the Saudi Pro League, possibly La Liga. That's maybe it. But there's a lot of money being thrown about in Turkey as well. And we're just going to have to wait and see what happens on player sales. Do think we'll see a lot of sales this year. I'm predicting about 10 or 12. But hopefully, big clear out in this window. Look, I think that's going to do us, guys. We've just about covered everything I want to get talking about as well. We've got 25 minutes until Scotland kick off against Hungary, so go enjoy the match. I know I am about to go enjoy it as well, guys. Have a good Sunday night, and I'll get talking to everyone tomorrow.